First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Oh my gosh. Listen, Sophia, you're in charge of this intro because the rest of us are too intimidated. She's here.
Wait, did you just say intimidated? Are you out of your mind?
Daphne, we're so happy that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Friends, Drama Queens family, listeners, we are here to talk about season 5, episode 4, and we have none other than the icon, Victoria Davis, Daphne Zuniga with us. And we are finally to season Daphne. It has taken so long to get here.
This is just what we've been waiting for the whole time. We've just been waiting to get you. That's it.
And you are such a champion because when we went on tour, we were like, listen, we're not there yet, but please come. We miss you so much. Will you come to New York? And you did.
It was so fun. That was so fun.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
You look fantastic.
If you're going to do everything online in this world, it's nice to have a ring light and filters and all that crap. You can figure it out.
Where are you in the world right now?
I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Nashville, upstate New York. Are you LA or are you London? Aren't you doing a play in London?
I'm in London.
You are already?
Yeah.
I think, are we checking all time zones right now? We've got our time zones covered.
Ladies, we're international.
Yeah. Wow.
Sophia's at wine o'clock. You're probably still drinking coffee.
It's 10 p.m. here. I'm having a glass of red wine.
I have a green juice. I'm so boring.
It's $3.49. Can I go get a glass of wine or is it
Yeah.
a little?
Yes, you can. Daphne, did you just hold up a matcha?
No, I hold up a green juice.
A green juice.
I've already had 2 coffees and I'm trying to cut down, so green juice.
Amazing.
So,
Yeah.
Daphne, you are so iconic when you come into the show and you just hit it right away. There's no buildup. You're just like, here I am. I am in charge. The rest of you are minions. Work.
Yeah.
And did you feel that? Like, as an actress, like, you little dummies, want to see how it's done? Or like, how do you prepare your brain to come in like a tornado?
Yeah.
All right. I've been thinking about this for so long. The truth is, no. The truth is, I remember being on the phone with discussing this character. And when he said, you're going to come in, you're the, Sophia's mother, you're going to be running this fashion company. And, I misheard him because I heard something like, you're going to have lines like, zero's not a size. And somehow I turned around that I'm going to be this really supportive mother. And she's like under all this pressure. And I thought, oh, that's great. And then I said, maybe I can say like, honey, it's not what you look like. It's on. And there's silence. And then goes, no, you're the villain. You fire people because they're not skinny enough. And I'm like, excuse me? And so I had to kind of really jump on board and say, oh, well, as long as someone's going to say zero is not a size.
Right.
But I get to play the villain in that whole story. At least the story is going to be ultimately positive for young women. Right. So anyway, then I get on the set and I think my first day and my first scene was, so if we were in the limo with that guy, Johan, I think Johan, his name was, what a sweetheart.
He was one of the Knicks. His character was one of the Knicks.
And so I remember, was nearby and I did my line, like, get out, you're not actually sleeping with her. And I just remember he comes up and he's like, yeah, can you do it meaner? So I had it took some effort to say these lines and literally to this daughter, right, and her friends who I knew that it was season 5. I knew I hadn't been around for years for this girl. And but when like the job's on the line, you just like muster up. And then I went, and I feel like that's when I met you, Hilarie.
Yeah, because I got the full Victoria.
I'm going. And I remember like
great.
being in the, being on set, and Joy, there was a scene in the music studio. And I remember saying things like, okay, I was like, okay, I got to stay here and she's got to stay here. Then we got to go there. And I remember being in the makeup trailer and, there's no cameras. You're like, but I'm saying it around to people, like, excuse me, hello, do I get any attention and stuff like that? Like to the makeup girls. And they're like, and I'm like, excuse me, I may be number 12 on the call sheet, but hello.
I love that. But that requires so much vulnerability and trust of the people around you, especially in environments when not everyone's going to understand exactly what you're doing. People are freaked out by actors' processes all the time.
Yeah.
I know. It wasn't fair, Joy, I have to say, because it's not like I was like, okay, I'm going to be getting into this, because this is the thing. If you don't, I need to somehow stay in it and play in the environment, because there's so much waiting and sitting around, and that it's hard to go from 0 to 60 when you have lines like, dear, you can't do this. That's why I'm doing it. You haven't done anything. Like, and to all of you, every single one of you, it could have come across really fake. So that's how I had to somehow, and I think I hugged you a lot in between. Probably not you, Hilarie. I didn't know you well enough.
Can I just tell you, Daphne, I thought about this today when I knew you were coming on. You guys, I had to still fly to New York all the time for work. I was like still doing stuff at MTV every once in a while. And there was one bright and early morning where Daphne and I both got on the same little flight from Wilmington to New York. And I hid because I was so scared of her. And I didn't know. I was like, should I say hi? I'm not going to say hi. She doesn't want to talk, but maybe she wants to talk. Do I look rude if I talked? Like, I had no idea what to do. And
my God.
It was perfect because I'd done a lot of parent stuff on the show. Like, I think out of all of our characters, Chad and I probably had the most like parent work to do.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to be too buddy with the person that's like playing your authority figure. And so it was good that I was terrified of you, Daphne, because I think all the stuff we have together has that real awkwardness that is like built into it. Because then, once I left the show and we started going to conventions, you and I sat down at that restaurant in Paris and we were like, let's do this.
Are you kidding me?
Let's get weird.
We had some conversation I still think of that's great advice. I won't say it online, but it was great advice.
Well,
but also I have to say that just the lines, that we have Peyton, when it's like, oh, well, you never had a mother. That's clear. All that evil stuff. I mean, to be honest, because I didn't know you I know I got to know, because I think you left some point, right? So I got to know these two, but I just felt like there was something I was like, I'm just going to use this. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You guys thought, oh, I'm going to be comfortable because I've worked for so long and I'm a parent, blah, blah, blah. But I was, it's hard to come into a show that's been on for all those years. You guys knew each other so well, the crew, everything. And so there was a kind of a new girl in town that I was also protecting with Victoria. Like, I don't care if I'm the new girl in town. Get the out of my... Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Well, you can cuss on our show. It's fine.
But you know what, Daph? I will say it was so, in my memory, clear to everyone that you were working, like you were focused and working, and it was cool to watch because, sure, you might go like, hello, can I get a little attention over here? But then you would laugh and you would make everyone laugh. And everyone was like, wait, she's doing, like, it felt like being backstage at like SNL and watching the comedians prep. You're going, oh my God, she's doing a bit. And it's so funny. And it became, I don't know, it just became so fun for all of us to watch because we were so enamored with the fact that you were going to come and join our show. We couldn't believe Daphne Zuniga was coming on our show. I was like, I finally get a mom and it's Daphne. Like, I've won the lottery.
Amazing.
And it was such a big deal. And you humanized it and you made it funny. And you're not wrong. You hugged me when the cameras weren't rolling all the time. And I think the closeness you and I created so fast allowed us to kind of be riskier with each other as performers.
Yeah, I think so.
When you're working with someone who you're actually scared of, it can really make you close up as an actor. And when you feel safe, you get open. And I remember how much fun I had with you, but I remember how much of a kind of relief it was as well to have someone of your caliber come in and, care for us and tell us we weren't crazy and give us great advice and like do all of the things. You were there for the highest highs and the lowest lows. And we had a lot of highs together, and it was so cool. Yeah.
Well, I felt very naturally, I'm very young at heart. Like I'm very young inside.
Yes.
So I feel like closer to your age than I think I numerically am.
We feel that though.
You're the mother. You're the mother.
Had you ever played a mom before?
Yeah, I'd played moms, but they were like, 11 tops.
Like nice moms. How did you justify, as we just watched the episode, and every single person that you meet, you've got something to cut them down, right? Just right below the knees. And how did you justify? I would love to know more, because I've never asked you this, but I would love to know more about Victoria and what kind of a character you crafted and backstory that you crafted for her that you felt you could justify that behavior, because you did it in such a way that was not caricature. It wasn't typical villainy. It was very grounded and human, and we still loved you anyway. And so I'm just fascinated. I'd love to know.
Well, for the character, I had to say to myself, okay, what do I love more than anything? My career, me, Daphne. And if I had gotten pregnant and had to give up my career, I just had to feel into that a lot. And already my body gives chills. It's okay to get pregnant. Two of you have children and but, and then be forced in that era, maybe in that time, in that town, to give up the career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I used. So I decided that Victoria she wanted to see the world. She wanted to do, she was a career woman. She was smart. She was a smart woman. And this town, and ironically, I could use the fact that when I was 15, we moved from the San Francisco Bay Area, where I was going to ACT, American Conservatory Theater, young conservatory. I'd been doing plays. My friends were getting agents. I already knew what I wanted. And we moved to a tiny town in Vermont, New England. 500, population 500, no theater department. Wow. Yeah, it was like the Waltons.
It was like the Waltons. Daphne, you were churning butter?
I was like, where's John Boy? Like literally there was a town hall, no sidewalks, one gas pump. Anyway, I went crazy. I thought, oh my God. And I hated my mother, and I had to get a theater department started at my high school, which I did. But so I could use that very visceral, if you have something that you think is who you are and the only way you can live in this world, and it's like your oxygen, like I've always had that with acting. I've never wanted anything else. And if Victoria had that with seeing the world and proving herself and being somebody and making money and doing like the men do, maybe she had a very tough dad. And then someone says, you're pregnant? And no. Well, this is the result of that. She's my no. And so the only way that that Victoria can do life and and she probably took off. She wasn't around because she was seeing the world and she was doing her thing. And so that's, Joy, to answer your question. When I would see Brooke, it was like, well, let's do this together then. I can have a child and we'll do this. And then she drags me back to this dump of a town. And I'm like, you're not going to do this to me twice. Are you kidding me? And you, Peyton, and you, whatever your name is, with the bait, no, it's not going to happen. So it was more out of a desperation. Yeah. And I've also felt like she just very much of protection is she has to look down on people. Her clothes have to look good. I am not you. I'm out of here. I'm Madison Avenue.
Yeah.
You know, St. Ambrose. Like, I have nothing
It's
to
like
do
an
with
armor.
You. Yeah.
It's how she protects herself in the world. And you know what I caught, because we've been talking now for the last few episodes, you know, the last one we finally revealed that Victoria's Brooke's mom. I'm not going, yes, you are, mother. Like, And in this episode, knowing that there were going to be all these zingers at the party, and we did a full spit take when you said, when Victoria says to Lucas, oh, you're one of my daughter's ill-begotten love interests, we like died.
Yeah.
But I was prepared for those. I was so excited to see those. The one I'd forgotten that really hit me for exactly the reasons you're sharing with us, I could see all of this backstory on your face, was when you said to me, after you're making it clear that you've designed this failure, you've prepped for Houston, you've done the work to make sure I don't want to stay in this town. And you say, beautiful things die in Tree Hill.
Oh, that line.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
because it's personal. It was your whole life. And all of what that sentiment is filled with is, you know, in a way now Brooke's to carry for her mom. And it just makes their relationship so clear with so little exposition. And I thought it was phenomenal writing. And I thought you acted it so beautifully. It took my breath away.
Yeah, that the stakes were that high. And also, so then add on that, she has to walk this line because as you do say, you know, like you don't have to go back. I can't force you to go back. Right. So then she has to think, well, I can't just drag her out of here and these are her friends. And if she knows inside, they're going to win and you're going to do what you want.
Yeah.
So she has to make this thing happen behind the scenes, right? About bringing in all, she knows no one can buy these clothes. You know, you guys can, like these people can maybe afford a cosmetic
21.
case.
We even gasped when Haley said, I'm 21 in this episode. We were like, oh my God.
I was like, wait, what?
21?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Daphne, you did 41 episodes of our show. Did you ever get an apartment in Wilmington? Or were you flown out every time and stayed in a hotel for weeks at a time?
Yeah, I was kind of like in and out. I was in and out a lot.
Because I feel like there were stretches of time when you were there for a long time.
Like, I think a month and then gone. Yeah, it was like that. It was really funny in the very beginning, like this episode or the one before, you know, I went home in between, I think, this last couple episodes. But I didn't know I was going anywhere.
I remember the plane.
Do you remember my luggage? I literally had like 2 very heavy things. And I had them for like, all this shit. And I was like, and then Kelly calls me, okay, where do you want to go Thursday? You're done. And I'm like, where am I? What? I thought I was staying at least longer than like, I don't know what it was, 5 days. And I had anyway, I learned I could leave some of that at home and come and go. But I ended up, I think later, Joy, staying longer at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
In the beginning. So I didn't know where to stay. So this is what I go. They're like, where do you want to stay? I go, where are the producers staying?
Yeah, exactly. It's so Victoria.
I think Joe stayed downtown in that house. Anyway,
I was like an apartment they all circled in and out of.
Yeah.
But I ended up staying in this place downtown. And I heard gunshots at night. There was partying every night. Probably you were there doing shots, Hilarie.
It was me.
Like the military guy. And I was like, okay, mental note. Don't want to stay here again. I was so scared.
Yeah.
Did you end up at the beach?
Yes. So then I went to the beach and stayed there. And by accident, they gave me some beautiful suite with a whirlpool bath and like 2 rooms. And I was like, wow, they treat their actors so well here. This is nice. And then the next time I go, oh, can I have the same room? And they're like, yeah, no, you're staying in this room. You made a mistake.
The baby room.
Yeah.
What What were some of your favorite spots in Wilmington? Where did you love to spend time?
The beach. And, you know what I liked about Wilmington was I had my little routine. You probably did that gym in Mayfair, the O2 gym.
Yes, that's right.
God.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God. I would do that. Sometimes I'd go to a movie right there. There's a place where I rented bikes and would ride out to the beach and do all that. And downtown, of course, with you guys, Deluxe.
Oh my God, Deluxe.
I was like, the great thing about working with people that are younger, I mean, not younger, but like you guys and your age is that, you know, you have a long day and like, oh, let's go get a glass of wine downtown, you know, and it's like nothing slowed you down. You know, like normally I probably would say I'll stay in my room and like do microwave popcorn and like, you know, sleep and be good. But I was like, no, let's go to Deluxe.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go to Deluxe. Let's see Hank. Let's have him tell us what the specials are.
Hank!
Sweet Hank.
A big, beautiful wooden bar.
I think with like the being scared of you part of it, it was really like rooted in wanting what you presented in these first couple episodes. Like we've talked extensively in the last, you know, couple episodes about how the end of season 4 went really sideways for me particularly. And I was witnessing this woman that came in and was hot and was really good at her job and really powerful. And everything I had witnessed up until this point was our male bosses kind of holding authority over women or putting them in uncomfortable positions. And you came in, no one was going to make you uncomfortable. And like you were the boss on set. Everyone was like deferring to you. Everyone was on the best behavior we have ever seen with you. And I wanted that. I was like, I don't know how to get that, but that's the goal. And I would love to know, like, as you were coming up in the industry, how you started to put those puzzle pieces together of like, this is how I'm going to conduct myself so that I am safe, I am professional, and I'm really fucking good.
Great question.
You know, to be honest, the only thing that brings that is time in this business, because you get to a certain age where they know they can't control you. They know they can't play with you. And trust me, on this set, there was some of that. And I would just be like, really? Not like really, because I can't believe you'd be like, with me, but like really, like, how old were you when this was going on my sets? Like you were so freaking young. I couldn't believe that still. I mean, I did a show in the early 2000s and I was 40 and they wanted me in a bathing suit. And I was like, no, I was 40 something. And I was like, when do you get to just be a woman? You know, like,
and not tits. Remember,
and just not the visual but it has to do with the power, right? And that has to do with age, because the only thing, and you guys are of the age, the only reason I could come in like that is because I'd been around, they'd seen me and stuff. You know, I'd go to coffee with Joe, with the producer, Joe DeVola, you know, in the morning, and we'd talk about therapy and stuff and a little bit. And then, you know, but I saw it, you guys. I mean, I saw what I saw, wasn't what everything you experienced. But I was like, oh, okay. And I could feel it and see it. And I, you know, just seeing you guys and getting to know you guys more. But I wasn't aware of that when I first came on. What I saw was you guys were the pros. You guys were in this well-oiled machine. I respected you. I could see how old you were. I didn't look at you. It didn't even dawn on me to look at you that way. It looked at me like you guys have been holding down a show and keeping it on the air for 5 years. That is not easy. Because I'd been on other shows. That didn't last that long. So that's how I saw you. And I was surprised when I learned more. But, you know, I hope nowadays it's different, don't you, than for people. I think for the younger
I
generation.
hope those little girls are out there tweeting anytime someone's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have those tools.
No.
I hope these kids on set are like texting each other and DMing each other like, this happened to you? Because we just didn't have the toolkit.
And we didn't have phones when I was younger, Hilarie. So it's not that we had like, oh, let me show you this picture or this and that, which you have now. You have access. That's what I don't get. Literally, when I was a kid in the 80s, there was like my mother did my fan mail. Like you do, like you write away for a picture that somebody signs. There weren't Comic-Cons, there weren't tweets, there wasn't all this access.
Did you ever do a mall tour?
I think just with Soph, we went somewhere on a mall.
Yeah, we did. Daphne and I did Macy's together in New York.
That's right, Macy's. God, you had, that was the first time.
It was honestly so chic.
Yeah, but your fans, my God, I was blown away.
It sort of strikes me as something really interesting, though, that you're saying. And maybe because you said the word therapy, and then very quickly after you said, yeah, you guys just seem to be holding down the show. And it took, and before I found out, I thought you were all just like these professional young people. Literally the other night, my therapist was like, it's really interesting that for being as sensitive as you are and how things can rock you, and you'll stay up for like 3 nights thinking about how to write about some injustice or how to talk about an issue. He goes, you just seem pretty unfazed all the time. And I'm your therapist. Like, it's just me and you on the Zoom. You can be as emotional as you want, and you seem pretty even keeled. And I was like, I'm never even keeled. Everything is painful. What are you talking about? And he was like, where do you think you learned to compartmentalize like this? And I was like, oh, on my first job for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I just learned to come to work and like be good and do it and keep my personal to myself. Like, just I was told, like, check your bags at the door, young lady. And now I'm like, I don't know, man. I guess I'm glad that I could like show up in a crisis and appear calm. And also, if your therapist is like, why don't you seem more upset when you're upset? I'm like, no, uh-oh.
Because your baggage is held together with duct tape.
I'm like, shit, man. Yeah, it's like all on the roof of the car.
But that, Soph, is a very needed ability in this business. And I think women, hopefully young women and young boys, learn it fast because it's none of their business so much. And it's such a tricky thing, right? Because you're on set and everything feels and becomes so personal.
And so intimate.
And yet it's a business.
You spend 18 hours together. I mean, they are your spouses, your partners. It's super intimate.
And so it's super intimate. And so I just remember being younger, and it's weird, authority and being familiar, and all of the roles get mixed up because not only is it intimate and you're close and you're 18 hours a day and all that, but it's also all you're doing is revisiting your emotions, you're recalling emotion. So it's very tricky. And anyway, I just want to say, for whatever your therapist said, I also think you learned it. You guys are all smart, and you have to, like, it doesn't mean you have to live there all the time, but you have to bring up some kind of self-preservation. You have to in this business.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, also in any business, like your office is not your therapist's office. Like, you have to go to work and work. Everyone can't be expected to know the depths of your experience, and not everyone deserves your story. But I'm also like, I think it's an interesting thing to start analyzing where you balance. And I think to sort of bring it back to the beginning, that's why it was so inspiring for us when you showed up, because we were like, whoa, she's so good at all this stuff. And she's really fun. Like, we have fun with Daphne every day. And then we go out to dinner. And also, she takes no shit from anyone. And like, wait a second. Like, it just, you opened up a whole other piece of the pie chart for us of uncharted territory.
Like, oh, I can just speak my mind like that. Oh, that's amazing. Like, there's been so many times in my life, in real life and in my work on set moments, when I've thought, what would Daphne do? I swear to God, I really mean it, because I really think, like, I've always been a little like if I don't need to say it, I don't. If there's an easier way to, but sometimes you just need to say what you think. Like, here's what it is. Here's what I'm thinking. Or if somebody's trying to mess with you, to just be like, really? Just say it. Why can't? What's so hard about saying that? Just call them out. If they're trying to mess with you, why should they be made to feel comfortable for doing something that's inappropriate? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And just seeing an example of a woman who is so successful and strong and fabulous and talented and smart, be able to do that just really lit me up. It was really exciting.
Well, yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think in this arena, I think it had to do with experience. You know, like I did experience a lot. I was, how old? 50 when I came to you guys.
What? You look like you're 30 in the show, Daphne. We were all just like, oh my God.
She's so gorgeous.
Maybe I was mid my 40s. I think I was mid 40s, but yeah. Girl. Those clothes. But
did you love them?
This episode was the St. John. So I for some reason we were in touch and they were sending me things and I was like, oh yeah, it's totally Victoria. And then later she started to, I don't know, branch out from that, some Armani type suits and stuff. It was, the wardrobe was so great in this damn show.
So good.
Oh, so good.
Carol Cutshaw.
And what was so much fun was to watch you look so amazing because we were laughing. Like, why were we all wearing capri pants and suit shorts? Like, I was wearing shorts. They were made of suit material, but they were short shorts. It was such a terrible era. Terrible. And like belts over long shirt dresses, cinched all tight.
I don't know.
It's all wrong.
Oy, oy, oy. It wasn't good. And yet there was something about it that worked because we looked like little kids. And then you came in these outfits and it was, you were breathtaking and your posture and your poise and the way you'd walk in a room, look around and then narrow your eyes at your target. I was like, I want her to yell at me just so I can be close to her.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I remember like watching this episode, I thought that was fun. And yet I also, as I'm watching it and remembering, I get to play more coming up. Do you know what I mean? Like I just loved working. Like I loved working with Lisa Goldstein and just, even though my character hated Millicent, I just loved, we had so much fun.
I loved Lisa so much. Her. And I was so excited to really, see her in Tree Hill for the first time in this episode. And then we got Kate Vogel and it was like, come on. Yes. It was such an embarrassment of riches with the three of you and Michaela coming in. It was like, they just got so lucky.
You know what? It went from being a show about boys basketball to being a show about women. Like this was the season where they're just like, we're going to triple the female cast members. We're not going to make the hair and makeup trailer any bigger, and we're not going to hire more people. But we're going to have hair on this show. Y'all are going to look good.
So much great hair.
So funny.
It was so great.
We have a bunch of fan questions for you here. If we can throw some at you.
The internet has been dying to ask you questions.
All right, let's see if I can remember.
Okay, wait. I want to ask the first one. I've been dying to ask you this all day. It is not actually from me. It's from Sophie with an, Sophie. I would have asked you anyway, but anyway. I don't know why I feel awkward. I'm so excited. Okay. How do you feel about the drama queens comparing your character to Kris Jenner?
Oh, I did hear that on your show. I was actually, if anyone wants to make a meme, I'd love it. Because I think Victoria in a St. John's, or actually probably any of her suits, but like, I think that'd be great. Like, how it started, not how it started, how it's going, because, but like sisters, I don't know, separated at birth, something like that.
Yes.
Dude, Brooke Davis goes out to LA during the summer, like in high school. Like, what if she's a cousin of the Kardashians? What if that's the alternate universe where Victoria is like a relative of Kris Jenner?
Or the villain, like what's it called? Your arch nemesis.
Your frenemy. Yeah.
She's your frenemy.
Yes.
Watching the show and us realizing that Victoria feels like a Kris Jenner blueprint, I was like, was Kris Jenner a One Tree Hill fan? is she taking lessons from this woman? Like, what's going on here? Because, we made these episodes a long time ago. I think before that show premiered. All I'm saying is, you might be entitled to a percentage of an empire.
That's really funny because like later on when Victoria gets a young lover and all that, it kind of, I mean, I've taken a lover. She has some great lines.
Taking notes.
That's so good.
I love it. It like puts Victoria in the real world somewhere. The fact that they're, comparing them, it gives me a real, oh yeah, okay, all right.
It's working.
It works.
It's working.
I like this one. Okay, Liv asks, what was your first non-acting job?
Oh.
My first non-acting job was in that little town that I moved to. I worked in the general store for $2.70 an hour at the cash register.
Aww.
No.
Oh my God.
I lie. Before that, I had a job in a deli. Okay, you guys. I remember I told you I went to ACT, American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco on Geary Street, right next to the big theaters. Denzel Washington went there, Annette Bening. I mean, I was just like, wow, I'm in the Young Conservatory. So I got a job next door at David's Deli. It's a famous deli. And I'm like, okay, I'll make sandwiches. So the guy hires me. I promptly get sent down to the basement, like down these wooden stairs. And I'm slicing pastrami and corned beef.
Oh God.
Like weeks. I'm dreaming of corned beef. No wonder I'm a vegetarian. Corned beef. And then I say, can I come upstairs and make sandwiches? And he's like, you don't like it down there? Okay, we bring you upstairs. He brings me upstairs and puts me in the back kitchen where I'm like peeling hard-boiled eggs for their egg salad
mayonnaise.
Anyway, the whole summer gone, and this is what I'm doing. And I never made a sandwich. Never made one sandwich. So you know what I was doing as I was doing that, you guys? I said, okay, Laurence Olivier says, use it. Use it all.
Yes.
Use it for your craft. So I was just there. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. I didn't know what I'd use it for, but I was going to use it.
How have you used it?
Yeah, what job did you use the sandwich place on?
I mean, probably some of Victoria. I mean, I don't know. You just have to. I don't know. I just remember being like 14 and going, I'm going to use it. That's what a professional would do.
Bitter.
Why do I feel like when Victoria is icing Peyton and she delivers the first gut punch of calling her a loser and then tells her she's a parasitic friend, she was picturing her working in a sandwich shop in Wilmington.
Meanwhile, Peyton's like, what's wrong with sandwiches?
Like, sandwiches are delicious.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question from Darla. She says, how did your experience on Melrose shape how you worked on One Tree Hill? Because that's what was so exciting for us. Like, you were a very recognizable person to us. And it was, we were so isolated down there that having someone who understood the experience and had lived it that we got to watch, that was so cool.
Yeah. Well, it was similar, you guys. I mean, I was watching it again. I just go, this is really a small town soap opera. You're an ensemble. I mean, my God, there's so much going on, the drama. Same with Melrose. Yeah. So what was similar was that it was ensemble and it was, every day, kind of the same people. So the drama has to switch it up between each other. And, I noticed in this episode that I was not the only real jerk in it. Quinn was a jerk. Lee's parents, not mother, boss. Lee's boss was a real jerk. Kevin Federline was a real jerk. Like everyone, these really mean people that, they have to bring in for the drama so that the regulars have to deal with all this, conflict. That was similar. There was always conflict on Melrose. And, that's what was very familiar. The ensemble. So you're all behind the scenes. And you guys, because it was a small town, I hung out with you guys. I mean, I'm sure I was calling you and saying, what are we going to do this weekend? What are we going to do this weekend? Because I was new in town. I'm like you guys, where are you going? What's going on? We didn't do that in Melrose because we shot here in LA. And so, everyone kind of just went home. But I'm sorry if I did bother you all the time, hanger on or
You weren't. Oh my gosh. We were, anytime you ever called to hang out, we were like, Daphne wants to hang out with me. This is so cool.
I'm in another country and all I would like is to be, quote, bothered by you.
Okay.
Literally anywhere in the world, please more. Okay, Jillian asks a question that
I love this one.
Also want to know the answer. Right? It's so good.
So good.
She said, Victoria had so many iconic nicknames. Ice Queen, Bar Hag, Bitchtoria. Do you, Daphne, have a favorite?
Well, there was Bitchtoria, and then what was the Horia one? Which Horia?
Which Toria? Which
Was that
Toria?
when she took a lover?
There was a Horia, yeah. I think Bitchtoria is kind of like the classic
magic.
one. I didn't know there was Bar Hag. Thank you very much, though.
I didn't
know about
either,
that one.
honestly, until Jillian asked. I was like, really? But yeah, Bitchtoria feels like the top of a very iconic pyramid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have people made merch with that name on it? Like, we need sweatshirts with Bitchtoria on there.
All right, so let's do it.
Daphne, just open up a little e-commerce page, Shopify, just like Daphne Zuniga.
Link in bio.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
So what about that drink where that the shrew drink at the bar in Trick?
Oh, I have big recollection
What's
of
this
this.
drink he goes?
What episode was that?
It's coming up. It's
Owen, right?
right?
Joe
Yeah.
Manganiello
Yeah.
next
Oh my
week.
God,
Drink down
it is
for you.
Joe.
Old shrew.
Yeah, it's like a...
Like Mean Old Shrew or something.
You'll see when you get there. I may have watched ahead.
I have physical memory of that. That's crazy.
Yes.
You do?
I hadn't thought about it since we filmed it, but you saying it, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
I think I like Bitchtoria the best. And I have to tell you a funny story, and then we'll get to the next one if there is one. But this little girl came up to me once, and she said, my mom says you're on TV. And I go, yeah. She says you were Victoria on One Tree Hill. And I go, yeah. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
She goes, say something. And I just looked at her and I said, okay, Daphne, are you going to do this? She's like, you're 12. And the mom was shy in the background. And I looked at the mother and I went, you asked for it. Oh. And I just I said something. I just insulted her so badly. And she just stood there and went, oh, okay. No. And she walked off and I was like, don't do that, people. I have to prove to you that Victoria.
It's like, those are problems that Paul had too, which leads us into the next question. People, hold on, where is that person who asked this question? They compared you to Dan Scott. They were like, you're the female Dan Scott. Do you feel that Victoria was like the female Dan Scott?
Okay, Daphne thinks, I'll do a Chris Keller here, right?
Yeah, third person.
Daphne thinks, third person, that yes, I see the similarities in some of the storyline. I mean, both in prison, both, older, maybe tossed back some, definitely self-righteous, narcissistic tendencies.
Wait, I'm sorry, go back. Does Victoria go to prison?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Wait, what season?
You'll get there. I have my own. Don't I have my own bitch in there? Comes up and goes, what do you need?
Yes.
Yeah, she finds like a prison Millicent.
Yes, totally. Oh, it's great. I'm there in an orange outfit and we try to make it look fashionable like Victoria.
Oh, it's so good.
This is the best piece of information I got today.
Was that happening the same time Martha Stewart went to prison? Was that sort of the inspiration of
probably
send Victoria?
Probably.
Trey Chic.
Yeah. Yeah, for like white collar crime.
I feel like it was.
Now the second half of the answer is that Victoria feels so far above Dan. So far above, like night and day. Do you know what I mean? She just, I feel like she's more like the Martha Stewart, okay? Some innocent number crunching, not like this guy who's a psychopath kind of thing. But I would have loved it if we had you know what I mean? Like a War of the Roses type of thing.
I wish. That was such a missed opportunity.
Oh, it would have been so...
we complained that Dan didn't have any love interests outside of, his high school girlfriend, his college girlfriend. Like, Dan Scott trying to hit on Victoria is what I want to watch all day long.
Oh, that would have been so fun.
Just to get rejected by Victoria. It would have been so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Which she would have, although she may have had a little fun with him first if she were feeling like she needed it. And then she would have rejected him. Who knows?
Yeah. But I feel like you would have given him some withering line. Much like you did to everyone in this episode.
God, I loved
it.
And
it just would have been so much fun to watch.
I feel like there's a TV series version of War of the Roses that needs to happen with you and Paul.
Yeah.
You got to put that in the works.
I have a line coming to me. She would have said something like, and there's a play on the concept here, but she would have said something like, looked him up and down and said, you probably think you're like the Marlboro Man, don't you?
He did think he was swarthy.
Wasn't he the Marlboro Man at one point?
Probably. He was a Coke guy.
Oh, the Coke guy.
Yeah.
Something like that he.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But she was always thinking in ads and in selling and marketing.
I love that. Okay, Daphne, we had a request from our fan base that we spend time with our guests, but then actually discuss the episode. So are you willing to stick around so we can do a second episode where we just talk about episode 504, where Victoria lays us all out?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Woo!
Well, friends, we will be back with part 2 of 504 with Daphne Zuniga, who is our queen, in a minute.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iHeartRadio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.